Greetings again, guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks with Globbits on Globbits Gaming Channel. Right, I've had a request from Lucian, or Luscion. Don't quite know how to pronounce that, but anyway, he's posted a comment in my Object 704 video, and it says, Globbits, is it possible you can show me more videos of the M103? I'm closing in on it, and I do enjoy your videos, yada yada yada. Would it be nice to see how to play and the decisions you make in that particular tank? Which, to be honest with you, to be asked that by somebody else is pretty awesome. Am I really getting to that stage where people want to know how I think? It can be slightly concerning. However, you know, if you want to know, I shall more than happily tell you. Right, before we do anything like that kind of stuff, what I need to do is basically give you my personal opinion on the tank itself. So we're going to do a bit of a garage review. So first thing I'm going to talk about is the actual stats of the vehicle. Right, 1850 hit points, which is pretty standard for Tier 9 heavy. Alright, that's not too bad at all. Weighs 62 tons, isn't the heaviest, but it's by nowhere near the lightest. With an 860 horsepower engine, giving it a top speed of 34 kph, which with regards to heavy tanks is not bad at all. And from experience, this thing can reach 34 kph quite easily when travelling on flat surfaces. And with an 860 horsepower engine shoving it up hills, it can climb quite well as well. Alright, so it's pretty mobile for a heavy. Turret traverse, the hull traverse is reasonably decent. I mean, it's 28 degrees. Let's just have a look. Comparable to, let's just pick a Tier 9 heavy at random. Let's go German. E75. Hull traverse, same as an E75. Yeah, so it's comparable with an E75. And let's have a look at the IS8. Same. Yeah, it's comparable with all the other Tier 9 heavies. So it doesn't really, well, most of the other Tier 9 heavies, should I say, so it doesn't really slack in regards to hull traverse. Now the armour's interesting. The Yank tanks have a distinct flavour coming up through the ranks. For example, your T29 has got a ridiculously heavy armoured turret at the front, sides and at the rear. Well, the rear of the turret's not great. Pretty crappy hull armour. T34, same hull armour, same turret. Yeah, hull down positions for these two bad boys. The M103 is slightly different on paper. Okay, it's got a thicker frontal armour. This 203, by the way, denotes this thing here, this upper plate here. It does not mean this lower plate. Alright, we're going to refer to this plate from now on as the lower glacis, and this is the upper glacis. Alright, that's the general consensus of the nose of the tank, if you like. The upper nose is 203mm thick, and it's at a hell of an angle. Yeah, it's a really good angle. For those that you understand about ballistics and all that kind of good stuff, angling of armour increases the comparable thickness depending on the sloping. Now, anything above 70% in World of Tanks, I believe, means an automatic bounce. That's not 70%, 70 degrees, sorry, but it's not far off. The lower plate, however, if you look at the tank head on, is massive, which isn't really something that you get with the T29 and the T34. Their upper hulls are a lot bigger, however they're not as sturdy. So you really need to start thinking about playing this tank and hiding that lower glacis. The turret armour, 127mm, is pretty shit on paper. I mean, its gun, for example, has 258mm penetration. So on paper, quite easily penetrable. The issue is, if you're shooting at the tank head on, look at what you're shooting at. The cheeks, viable place to hit, but look at the sloping. Unless you can actually hit this bit either side of the gun mantle, you're going to struggle to go through. Because if you look at the actual turret from the top, look at the angling on that bad boy. Yeah, the gun mantle at the front is thick. Yeah, I have had a couple of occasions where the gun's actually been knocked out, but it's reasonably thick for bouncing. It has got a prominent hatch at the top, commander's hatch here, commander's cupola. So if you are facing this thing hull down, okay, and you can't get the shots on the body, aim for the turret hatch at the top there. When I'm aiming this thing and I'm in between shots, I do have a habit of doing this with the turret occasionally, shaking my head at the enemy for a couple of seconds just to confuse their aim slightly. Alright, the gun itself, Let's have a bit more talk about the armour. Side of the armour, side of the hull, 51mm. Fucking garbage. Absolute rubbish. 38mm at the back. Yeah, if you get a HE shot anywhere on your engine bay from artillery or side shots, you're going to get absolutely wrecked in this thing. However, side scraping is a viable option. For those of you, if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to treat you all like idiots. Some of you should know, some of you won't know. I'm going to do an extra segment of this particular replay on things like hull down, side scraping, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that'll come later on. Right, the only time you're going to have issues with this turret, alright, if they hit the flat side of it. You should never, ever, ever get in a position where this is what your enemy can see. Alright, they will just pepper you. Think about what tanks you're going to be against. Tier 7s at the lowest end, and Tier 10s, yeah, at the top end. Anything in between, their guns are more than capable of turning you into Swiss cheese if they get around the back of you and around the sides. Alright, and also this back of the turret here, okay, I believe, I don't know if the mechanics support it, but it's a shot trap. Think about it. You shoot at the tank from over here, it goes hits this bit here, stupidly well angled, okay, which means it's an instant bounce, but where's it going to bounce to? Your turret ring. Yeah, your turret ring gets taken out quite often in this tank as well. It has got quite meaty tracks which do absorb a lot of damage. Alright, which isn't too bad. The gun, there's only really one gun for this vehicle, and it's this thing. 120mm M58. 5.36 rounds a minute, which basically equates to 1 round every 9 seconds, give or take, depending on crew skill. 258mm of penetration, which isn't too shabby at all with standard AP, with an average of 400 damage. If you go to high explosive anti-tank, 340. Alright, HE, irrelevant, 60mm. The accuracy is okay. It's not German, but it ain't bad, and the aiming time, okay, is okay. It's not too shabby at all. Not a bad gun. If you notice down here, it's the same gun that you get on the Tier 10. You're basically swinging around at Tier 9 a Tier 10 cannon, which is pretty cool. Alright, so equipment fit, I've gone for rammer, increases the reload speed. Vents, increases everything by 5%, and a vert stab. General rule of thumb, if your vehicle can fit a vert stab, you fit it. You could potentially go for a gun lane drive, but do you need it really with a 2.3 second aiming time? Not really. You could potentially go coated optics, potentially ammo rack, whatever. Personal preference. Personally, vert stab, vents, rammer. Crew skills, I've gone with 6th sense, okay, on my commando with mentor to get the other crew trained up a lot quicker. Complete brothers in arms crew. The gunner's got dead eye, and I'm working towards snapshot, increased accuracy during turret rotation. Clutch braking and off-road driving just makes me more mobile. Safe stowage, okay, if you can have a loader with safe stowage, it's a good idea to get it. It is a perk, however, it only works at 100%. The amount of people I see with it at like 28, 29%. The best thing to do, guys, is go repairs until they get to 100 and then swap it over. And then consider carry on with repairs under your second skill. And then the second loader, it's got 2 loaders, this vehicle. He's gone for brothers in arms, repairs and firefighting. Some people argue have a repair crew. 6 and 2 3s. Personally, it would potentially be a good idea. Might be something to look at later on for myself. Standard issue consumables. I may start thinking about using premium consumables of this thing. I'm not sure at this point. So other weak points on the tank then. All round, it isn't really that weak. I personally think it's one of the better Tier 9s. I mean, your E75s have really got heavy armor in this, but I really like the mobility of this thing. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take it into a training room with a couple of friends. I'm going to demonstrate some of the things I do in this thing that you should also do in other American tank things like side scraping, hull down, and bits and pieces like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the guys to shoot at me and show you the effectiveness of the different things. I'm also going to shoot them back as well. Alright, so onto the training room. Right then, side scraping. Bossman's in his E75 and he's demonstrating now, as you can see, going backwards and forwards. Now, he's angled his tank in such a way that no matter what I aim for, I'm aiming for the tracks or the side, and he's moving in and out. Okay, it's giving me massive issues. Alright, however, if he comes out to the point where he just aims his gun at me, just his gun, there is no way on earth I can get to his frontal plates. Okay, I have to shoot his side, which at the angle it's at the moment, okay, basically means it's got a really high chance of pinging off. Alright, that is basically side scraping in a nutshell. Alright, and to demonstrate the reason I don't really like doing it on the M103, is if I do the same thing in order to get my gun aim at him, I have to show a lot of my frontal plate. You see that? Lower glacis and the upper plate there. He can quite easily bang a shot in there. Quite easily. He'll do it now. Straight through. More than likely. Yeah. Straight through. And he's ammo racked me as well, just for the trolls. Alright. However, if I do try and reciprocate the offerings, try and shoot him, all I do is take his track off. Yeah, E75 is a beast tank. This tank is not particularly good at side scraping. So we'll just go back again, I'll show you from a different angle how to actually side scrape. Let's get around the back of him. Let's do the same again, boss. Yeah, he's putting himself a really decent angle. Yeah, and just popping out just enough to show his gun can do, and then he'll fire at the target. And then happy days are here again. So that in a nutshell is side scraping. So next thing, hull down. Right then, hull down positions. Vic has decided in his infinite wisdom to allow me to show you his T-34 in hull down action. Now, what we mean by hull down, the clue's in the name. He's only showing me his turret. Okay, now I'm showing you in zoomed in mode now. All I can actually shoot at here is his really big thick gun mantlet, his gun, and his turret cheeks. Alright, and the American tanks, things like the T-32, T-34, T-29, are really good hull down tanks. Okay, they've got very strong turrets. Alright, and they've got gun depression. Okay, and what we mean by gun depression is the ability to point your gun down. Alright, so just scan through. The centre of my reticle on Jimbo's, okay, is orange, which basically means the orange areas I'm going to struggle to penetrate. The green areas on the cheeks, okay, it's saying I can penetrate them, but with the angling, alright, it might bounce. In fact, more than likely it will. I'll just take a few test shots at his gun mantlet. I'm sure he'll agree with that. He's wiggling his nose to say yes. So let's take a shot at his gun mantlet. Right. So keep still. Bounce straight off. Yeah. And an E75 even bounces off. Yeah. The gun mantlets on the American heavies are absolutely troll. Let's just take a shot at the cheeks. I'll take a shot at the right hand cheek. Right. Shot at the right hand cheek. That goes through, but the E75 bounces. Boss, what's your pen on your E75's gun?
246. Yeah, 246.
246. Yeah, so I just got lucky with that particular shot there. Yeah, but that's 3 out of 4 shots that bounced. Yeah, that's what we mean by hull down, guys. This thing isn't great at it. This tank isn't fantastic at it, but it is a viable option with the M103. It's got the gun depression, etc, etc, etc. So that's a viable option for hull down. Right, next thing we're going to look at is hiding your lower glacis. Another option is using enemy dead tanks as cover. In this particular case, what I'm doing here is I'm using the wreck of Boss, who we've just killed, you know, all sportsmanlike and all that kind of good stuff. I'm using his wreck. Now what I'm going to do is, for want of a better word, I'm going to side scrape, because I can see Vic if I move back slightly like this and turn in my turret. Yeah, I can see Vic there. Alright. Now the only thing he can see of my vehicle, confirm this Vic, is basically my track and my turret.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that's going to give me a really strong position against Vic now. This would be, for me, want of a better word, a stalemate. You know, we'd have a massive issues. We'd have to aim for that prominent weak points like hatches and cheeks and all that kind of good stuff. Alright. So there's another option. The next thing we're going to look at is, I mentioned your lower glacis is the weakest part of your frontal armour. Places like these rocks is a really good position for just bunging your lower glacis in cover. Never ever, unless you can avoid it, come out of cover this way. Because as I come out here, okay, I'm giving Vic shots on my angled but still really thin lower glacis. Right. Personally, if I'm going to engage Vic from here, what I would do is I would tuck in like this, and basically, for want of a better word, side scrape. It's not necessarily side scraping, but I'm hiding all of my frontal hull. So all he can shoot at is my turret. So I bang a few shots into my turret, Vic, into the gun mallet, places like that. Yeah, you have to actually hit me, bro.
My gun is trolling me as usual.
Just wait for the 15-second reload. Yeah, let's have a look. Now he's aiming for my prominent weak spot there. He's aiming for my hatch. Okay, but the angling of the turret, like we talked about in the garage review, okay, unless he gets it bang on in the sweet spot just below that machine gun, okay, it ain't going to penetrate. It's just going to skim off. Aim for the cheeks, mate, if you can. See how you get on with the cheeks. Yeah, ping straight off. Yeah, you hit my little viewport thingamajiggy. Yeah. Now at this point what I would be doing is I would be gently wiggling my turret like this in between shots. Yeah, just to throw off his aim. Okay, while I'm reloading. So where did he hit me there? Where did you aim for there, bro? You going for the hatch again?
Hatch.
Yeah, aiming for the weak spots. So, in review then. First of all, I hope you enjoyed that little insight into my take on World of Tanks tactics. I'm not the expert, okay, by any way, shape or form. That's just my interpretation of how you should side scrape, hull down, and all that kind of good stuff. If there are any mistakes or anything, leave them in the comments. Keep them constructive. Tips and tricks and all that kind of good stuff. You give me some links to some sites or whatever that makes it a bit more clear, then fair enough, we'll use those. But to sum up then, this tank has no real weak points, in my personal opinion. It's not particularly bad at anything. It's not great at anything either. It's just a good all-round tier 9 heavy. Personally, the thing is with this vehicle, you can adapt it to any particular situation that you want to do. For example, things like an E75, yeah, it's got really trolley armour. But it's only really very good in certain situations. You know, there's ways around them and ways to defeat them and all that kind of stuff. There's ways to defeat this as well. But the E75, you have to angle it to make it effective. With this thing, not so much. You know, it's just one of those things. It's different strokes. I personally quite like this tank. It's got its weak points, you know, that hatch on top of the turret and all that kind of stuff. But we saw in the video, Vic was aiming for that at less than 250 meters and he missed it. He hit this bit of the turret here and it just bounced clean off. You know, it's one of those things. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to click the battle button and go into a live battle. See how I get on. See if I can implement some of these techniques for you. And show you some good gameplay. So let's see how that works. Right then, apology time. I came, I saw, and I could not get a decent bloody game on my M103. I mentioned in the last part of the video that I was going to get a live commentary. Guys, I tried 8 times. 8 times, and every single time my team were absolute bunch of dribbling, window licking retards. Alright, so I've dug out some replays from earlier on in the patch. Okay, this one I'm teamed up with Bossman and Melanthius again from the live stream, for those of you who remember him or know him. We're on Ensk. Alright, no we're not, we're on Abbey. Oh, the frustrations of those games are getting to the globs. I can't even remember what map it is. We all decide universally over TeamSpeak that we're going to go down the 8 line, okay, down here. I'm in the lead. Whenever you go into a game, guys, it's one thing I need you to try and get into your heads of what I'm thinking. I always look at the enemy team composition. Okay, their top tier players aren't that great. Our platoon on statistics, on paper, is actually better than them. So if we meet them down here, we shouldn't have an issue. Now, what we're telling Merle now, what we said to Merle is get yourself in a position near these dead tanks here coming up, okay, and me and Bossman are going to go forward. That's a good combination to get. A couple of heavies and a TD can work really well in a 3-man platoon, you know, as long as you mutually support each other. My sixth sense goes off here, I think, at some point. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, sixth sense has gone off, and I tell the guys, by the way, I've been spotted. So there's something with a pretty decent view range down there looking at us. So hey ho, now there's a area around here. I'll put it onto camera now here that you can side scrape and look down there. Now look what I'm doing. I'm hiding my lower glaciers from that E100. Yeah, I don't want to get involved with him too much. We realise he's backed off. Alright, so Bossman decides to go the other side of the the other side of the track. So I'm still looking. Okay, now this IS-3 got on my tits because he blocked me there. Made that basically that position invalid. I thought he was going to stay there, but he didn't. So that's Merle putting the shots in on the E100 there. Bossman's coming out backwards. This happens a lot on this tank. If you take a shot, alright, where did he actually hit me? Oh no. Anyway, we're taking chunks out of those guys. I had to fix my track to get out of there. Now look at that IS-3 again, he's blocking Bossman from getting out. Anyway, regardless. So, make a bit of a boo-boo here. I realise Boss is probably going to get shot to bits here by these guys because he gets tracked. Alright. So I'm going to take a shot at the VK. Side-scraping. Perfect example of side-scraping for that VK there. Yeah, you have to do that with a tank that's got a turret at the rear. So I decided to take a shot for Boss. Right, because I'm ammo racked. But unfortunately, he shoots me. So I decided to take the hit for him. Yeah. Get my damage reduced and just charge the bloody... Charge the VK. But the VK was showing a good example of side-scraping there. And we're just going to basically put pressure on this E100. Okay, the tank destroyer behind him is bugging out. Alright, so let's get some shots on Scumbag. No point side scraping out there because I knew that artillery piece wouldn't have a shot on me. So how to deal with this E100? Again, turn your frontal plate in. Only giving me side to shoot at. And bounce off the frontal armour. He's retreating. I don't know why he's back. Well, I do know why he's backing off. He's shit scared of us because he knows we're going to kick his arse. I decided to load a premium shell, but I've been ammo racked, so it's an 18-second reload. Not great. So see if a premium shell does any difference. Straight through. Yeah. I don't advocate using gold rounds all the time. I always keep a couple for just occasions like this. Because I'm not being funny, ladies and gents. There's no way I'm going to take out that E100 from the front with standard AP with any effectiveness. So probably switching to gold was a good idea there. We are absolutely ruffle stomping this team though. It's just a clean up operation now. We're 7-3 up. Bossman takes a massive hit there. Now notice how I ignore artillery. Right, a lot of players here, even gold rounds bounce off the side. Yeah, that's the difference between heat ammunition. They bounced off his tracks. I've ignored artillery. Unfortunately, wasn't in time to save Bossman there. But I managed to finish off the C75, the E100, sorry, with a close range lower glacis. Now somebody else has killed artillery for me. Yeah, don't do that, guys. I hate this. You have your mate engage in a heavy tank, right, and your mates waste a shot shooting artillery. Now I've got a very, very dangerous tank destroyer. Alright. Giving me side shots. I'll take side shots. Now this is hull down. Alright, this is hull down. Just poking up just enough over the edge. You can usually tell how far it is when you get used to it just by in sniper mode. The Indian Panzer there is doing it as well. So we're just going to sit here and basically just take pot shots at the C4, hoping for some support, shooting at the side of the tracks and everything, trying to get some damage into him, because neither of us, neither me or the Indian Panzer, can afford to take a hit from that bloody thing. Perfectly demonstrated there, can't afford to take a hit from him. So wait for the reload. He's showing me his side. I've got to take shots at the side. Lucky shot there, went straight through and took his tracks off, giving Merle a chance to get in position. Keep the guy concentrating on me, basically. That's my main aim at the moment. You know, because if I die, I'm ammo racked. Not much of an issue. You know, I'm not that not much of a threat. Thankfully that shot missed. That would have posted me to middle of next week. Another good solid shot into him. Yeah, allowing Merle to come along and finish him off with his BL-10. Yes, that's basically hull down in a nutshell, guys. Alright. Trying to get a shot on the IS-8 here, but I don't think I'll... No. I didn't realise I was still spotted there. That was a mistake by me there, but never mind. So, let's carry on watching. See if I can switch tanks. No, I can't switch tanks. Oh, I can. Let's just watch the end of this game. Basically, they win by capping, so that IS-8 gets finished. I don't know who by, I can't remember who by. I think it's Merle finishes this one off. I think he does. Yeah. Merle finishes him off. Okay, and basically the Chuck Norris launcher, or the FB215B 183, chases that object 268. So we'll speed up the replay. Not a great deal happens. Yeah, Merle starts to decide to cap, simply just to get experience and efficiency, etc, etc. Let's see if I can switch to the FV215. No, I can't. Yeah, basically the FV215B goes around the corner and basically one-shots the object. So yeah, hopefully give you a bit of an example of what hull down and all that kind of good stuff, Sidescraping. I did make a few mistakes there, but hey ho, this isn't the best replay, but the time I've had trying to get replays and trying to get some footage for you guys in this thing, it's not going too well, because it is a Sunday and all the idiots come out on Sundays. Anyway, I've got one more for you. We'll have a look at that and then we'll wrap it up. Alright then, post-game stats for that battle on Abbey. So how well did I actually do? Let's have a look at the stats here. It's netted me 3,291 experience, doubled, not great, and 45,000 credits. Yeah, not fantastic. But hey ho. Spotted 3 vehicles, did a decent amount of spotting damage, so let's have a look how much spotting damage I actually did. Oh, I actually managed to finish top of the table. Check that out. 2,393 damage with an ammo rack, not bad at all, and a base experience of 954. Got myself a steel wall as well. Not too bad, not too shabby at all. 1,000 spotting damage, 2,260 potential damage received, which actually adds to your experience, which I disagree with. I wholeheartedly disagree with potential damage received counting towards experience. That's bullshit. If you drive an E100 against a bunch of fucking idiots, you can rack up a huge experience score by basically sitting there and letting them shoot at you. I don't like that at all. I mean, fair enough if you are angling and all that kind of stuff. Maybe what they could do is put this shot would have penetrated if you didn't angle, and give you bonuses like that. But I don't agree with that being count towards XP. But not a bad effort on that one. Not a bad effort at all, really, with an ammo rack. Just demonstrating the hull down, all that kind of good stuff. So, on to the next battle. Right then, second game on Ensk. Now, just to point out, this battle's very tier 10 heavy. It's nearly half tier 10s. And look at the enemy team. Look at our team. There's a lot of very, very, very good players on this in this match. Some that have played a lot of games that aren't very good, but some that are absolutely amazing. XVM's given me a 54% chance to win. But myself, Bossman, and Merle basically consigned ourselves to a very early, very quick, painless death. But it didn't turn out that way. Didn't turn out that way at all. So here we go. So where would you go on this map? One thing I said to these two, I said I am not under any circumstances going into the town with all those big, dangerous, scary tanks. I'm not tanking the town in this thing. Let's let the E100s and the 110 E5 do all that. Let's try and make a nuisance of ourselves. The thing is, when you've got players that are this good on your team, if you do something that they wouldn't normally expect, it sometimes can catch them out. They're usually used to playing things like Clan Wars, when everybody does what they're supposed to. If you do something that they don't expect, you can sometimes catch them out, and this is a prime example in this game. Alright, so I'm going to go down the middle, up this road here. But before I do, I have a little side scrape. Yeah, just to see what's out there. Okay, I see that it's pretty clear, so I can make my move. Yeah. See what I'm saying there, guys? Before you just go driving out and giving them your side, you know, have a little bit of a look-see. Or drive an ST1 and you just don't give a shit and you just drive away anywhere, but you completely troll front armour. So, what we're going to meet around this corner. E50M's camping in those windows. Alright. But the E50M, from what I can gather, hasn't got a fantastic gun. I've got no experience with those German mediums, but anyway. So let's... Now this, I was lucky here. Look at what's coming down that road there. And they're all facing me. Thankfully I took a bounce there. That could have been a problem. Alright, so... I've done something, for what I can gather, is something that these guys wouldn't expect. So I'm going to get behind this T-30. but he's turned round. Thanks to the bat chat there. I couldn't get back quick enough, and we just basically take this T-30 to pieces. What we got around this corner? Using the wreck again. Yeah. Using the wreck, side scraping, using the wreck, taking shots from a tier 10 tank destroyer. Alright, now look at what he can see. That's all he can see. Yeah. However, what I didn't notice was behind me, the guys that are behind me, allegedly in inverted commas supporting me, have decided to melt. So I'm taking pot shots and dueling it out with a tier 10 tank destroyer. Very, very dangerous tank destroyer. And that E50 comes back. Now, look down there, Melanthius is there. And I'm screaming on TeamSpeak for him to shoot me, to shoot at this E50M. Screaming at him. Now check this out. He shoots. An Object 704 bounced off the back of an E50M. That should not happen. That should not happen. That was bullshit. That BL-10 has got a penetration value up into the rafters. Alright, I know the back of the E50M is well angled, but that's just taking the mick, in my personal opinion. Yeah. And it turns out our little platoon actually did quite well in this game. But I congratulate Track there on sneaking up on me. I didn't notice. But it's 8-7 and they're dueling it out nicely. And look down there. Look at the boys over there. You know. Merle and Bossman are doing their thing. You know, holding off the base while the rest of the alleged better players are out duking it out at the top. So they're doing alright. They're doing okay. Nice bit of teamwork. WZ120. I've been sent a replay of a WZ120 by another subscriber. I'm going to have a look at that replay. He has an absolutely cracking game on it. I'm going to do a replay on that, I think, as well. A review on it, sorry. Not a review, but a replay on it. Mako here, in his back chat's got 5 kills. In this kind of game, that's a pretty mean feat. But then back chats are renowned for being sneaky little buggers with their auto-loaders. Not really got much to say about the rest of this game, really. I was too busy chatting with Merle. But yeah, so what did you reckon to that whole setup then, guys? Is that what you wanted? I can't look sure. Is that what you wanted? Try my best to give you as much information as I can based on my knowledge, but at the end of the day I just could not get a live game to show you. It just seems that the teams were here to plague me. It's just a mop-up operation now. Yep. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. It's pretty much a long one. It's pretty long. Do you want to see more of this kind of stuff? Obviously the tanks that I've actually got, I'll quite happily do this kind of thing for you. If you want to do it, or just want to carry on with the standard issued Globbit style replays, comments in the box below. Awesome shot. 6 kills for his top gun. Well done, Mako. Well done. So, to summarise then. And here's the post-game stats for that Ents game. Again, non-doubled, got 1,171 experience, netting 39,000 credits. Not great. Not great, really. Didn't really demonstrate a great deal in that game, but it's the only replays I had for you from this particular patch that were actually any good. Finished mid-table though, in a tier 10 game with players of that magnitude. Not a bad effort at all, really. Did 2,417 damage, which compared to the 110 E5 did more, and Mako did more than me, and so did the E4. But then again, to put it in perspective, the E4 would only have to hit and penetrate 3 things and do pretty much the same damage as me. But you know, hey ho, not a bad effort. Artillery had a good game in that one. Made a little bit of cash. Potential damage received 3,620. That's probably what's put me up in the top end of the chart, which I mentioned earlier I don't agree with, and I don't. But hey ho, yeah, so not a bad effort at all. Yeah. It's not all about the kills. So, on to a bit of a wrapping up session now. So, to finish off then, I've really enjoyed the grind to this tank, and I've enjoyed the grind actually getting all the modules and trying to get to the T110E5 in it. I'm nearly there. It's been an absolute pleasure to play this vehicle. Like I said earlier on in the video, it's a nice all-rounder, and probably one of the easiest tier 9s to play. So if you are looking at going to tier 9, I would advise going American, personally. So guys, have you actually enjoyed this particular style of video? If you have, stick it in the post-game the video comments, and I'll try and do some more. I'll say it's the first time I've done it. Okay, I'm having to sort of splice the videos together because I can only do 10-minute segments and all that kind of good stuff for the different games. If you enjoy it, please let me know. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe, tell your friends and all that kind of good stuff. Let's try and get more subscribers. The more subscribers we get, the better the content will become. As I get more replays sent in. If you do want to send me any replays, my email address is in the description below. Again, I won't promise to do every single video, every single replay. Send me exceptional ones, guys. I'll have a look at them. Alright, so as far as I'm concerned, guys, that's me done. That's Glob signing off. Take care now.